Now that we have the basics of depth of field down from our previous lessons, let me show you how to push your depth of field around so you have a little bit more control over it. To do this, I'm going to show you a very handy piece of technology known as the depth of field calculator. Now, there are several depth of field calculators on the market, both as online and as smartphone apps. You can choose any one you want because they basically do the same job. They do the heavy lifting of calculating your depth of field and your hyperfocal distance based off your shooting conditions, which would include sensor size, f-stop, focal length, and the distance of your subject from your camera. So let's go ahead and take a look at these depth of field calculators by plugging in our camera settings and see what we get.
There are some preliminary considerations before beginning. The first step is determining your camera's specific sensor size, such as if it's cropped or micro four thirds sensor, or a full 35mm sensor. Most apps make this easy by letting you just pick the camera model. We shot this depth of field series on a Sony a7S, so I'm going to input that into my app. Once that is set, I can begin. I know I want to use my 50mm lens, so I set the focal length to 50. Next, I know my aperture will be f16, so I set the f-stop accordingly. Now I can frame up my subject. By running a tape measure from my camera's focal plane marker to the subject, I see that my subject is exactly 12 feet away. With this calculation, I have a depth of field range of 31 feet 6 inches. That means that there is a range of 31 feet 6 inches that my subject can move around in and remain in focus, along with the objects surrounding my subject. Something to notice is that the calculator shows this range is not split 50-50, meaning this range is not 15 feet 9 inches in front and 15 feet 9 inches behind the subject. Rather, we have 4 feet 11 inches in front of the subject and 26 feet 7 inches beyond the subject that will be in focus. This means it is more of a 1684 split with most of the depth of field behind our subject. Now let's play around a little with the settings.